Hey everyone, thanks for joining me in day 23 of our Tokyo to Hokkaido road trip. We began the day with a filling breakfast buffet, then made our way to the park's visitor center. There we set out for the Pioneer Course, one of the park's many walking trails. Not even 10 minutes into our trek, we came across some grazing deer in the brush. In keeping with park rules and general respect for the environment, we kept a safe distance and remained calm and collected while we observed. Shortly after, we came to the Shiretoko Pass, the same highway we rode along the day before to get to the eastern peninsula. Once crossing, the path continued through a tunnel of trees, and before long, we came upon a small clearing. Past the clearing, a wooden colonial-style house comes into view. A historical nod to the times of pioneers, the aptly named Pioneer House, marked the beginning of our ascent to a grassy field just up ahead. The sky opened up more and more as we climbed the gentle hills. When there was nowhere else left to climb, we took in the view of the mountains, Mount Iyo looming under cloud cover in the north, and Mount Raosu stationed below clear skies to the south. A round trip on the trail lasted approximately 2 hours, so after a little bit of rest, we continued on our way. Once delving back into the forest, we came to a trail closure, a path that likely leads deeper into the forest, or possibly a service trail for workers. Either way, the Japanese large forest was lush and green as we made our way back. Across the road, we returned to the Sakhalin spruce forest, and soon we arrived back at the visitor center. We all piled into the van and rode through the pass, returning to the Raosu Visitor Center. Info on Ainu cultural influences, taxidermied animals, hiking trails, equipment, and more can all be found here. What's cool about Shiretoko is how rich the ecosystems are. Despite being remote, the land and sea teem with all different kinds of life, from microscopic phytoplankton to Blackiston's fish owl, one of the largest that has a wingspan of 6 feet. Being there particularly during the pandemic as well, there weren't as many people, which allowed us to better take in the beauty of the untouched flora and fauna. From the visitor center, we walked alongside the highway to get to a hiking trail. What I found quite interesting here was looking down to watch my step on the newly paved concrete road, but looking up to see sweeping valleys and lush vegetation. As a fan of brutalist design and nature, I found myself admiring the harsh but balanced contrast of the two put together. As we approached the trailhead, we spotted yet another group of deer. The clearly labeled sign and bear warnings remind tourists to keep their bear spray handy, though the beautiful deer were as calm as ever. I could already tell that this was a path less traveled, for there was much more moss and low-lying ferns covering the ground. This lesser-known path had more uneven terrain, bugs, and rocks to climb over. We continued following the winding path, the bubbling stream expanding into an established body of water. Before long, we'd reached Kumagoe Falls. The waterfall is said to have gotten its name by a bear being seen crossing through it, aptly naming it after the remarkable creatures. At the trail's entrance, we walked alongside the road, heading back the way we came. Beneath this bridge, the Raosu River flowed downstream, eventually emptying out into the Nemuro Strait. Just before getting to the visitor center, we came upon Kuma no Yu Hot Spring. Are you noticing a trend? Here we bathed and relaxed after our hike. Next, we drove back to the park's visitor center and found that a trail we walked a few days ago was closed due to bear sightings. We watched a short nature film, drove back to the inn for dinner, and then later went on a night drive. We didn't end up seeing any bears, but we did see a couple foxes. Bright and early for our 5th and last day in Shiretoko, we walked through town to check in for a sightseeing cruise, this time exploring the western side of the peninsula. Along with the other tourists, we made our way to port, everyone securing their life jackets as soon as they boarded, and then we coasted out to sea. The 3-hour-long cruise would take us along the peninsula all the way up to Cape Shiretoko. Because a majority of the park is inaccessible to the public, the cruise allowed us to see nature untouched by man, the haunting beauty of the open sea, dramatic cliff faces, and the hilly remnants of Mount Raosu and Iyo. Along the way were several waterfalls, groups of kayakers, and nature everywhere you looked. An hour in, we saw our first and only bear since arriving at the park. While small from a distance, the usuri, or Ezo black bear, can weigh about 440 pounds, though some have been recorded to be up to 1,000. Shiretoko is famed for having one of the densest brown bear habitats in the world, thanks in part to the breadth and diversity of habitats, all located in the park. Here, my host mom and I ventured to the outdoor part of the boat for fewer obstructed photos and videos of the Cape. I was surprised to see anything this far north, but spotted a blip of civilization nonetheless in the form of a modest fishing port. Once we reached that point though, the captain turned the ship around to head back to port. Once returning to port, we headed back into town, stretching our legs after the 3-hour-long cruise. We bought snacks and souvenirs at a nearby Michi no Eki, marking our journey by collecting yet another stamp in our stamp rally books. 7 minutes down the road, we checked out Oshinkoshin Falls. While this was our last Shiretoko site of the trip, the waterfall actually marks the entrance to the park, giving tourists an idea of what natural wonders await them upon their arrival. In Teshikaga, an hour and 15 minutes later, we'd come to Kawayu Kanko Hotel to bathe at their onsen. Sourced by runoff from Mount Iyo, the onsen has an acidity level of 1.8 pH. Historically, the Ainu people would soak their ailments away, the minerals in the hot spring healing the body. Now, weary travelers and onsen enthusiasts can do the same. Just nearby was a statue of Taiho Koki, a famous sumo wrestler from Teshikaga. Heading further south, we got to Kushiro, a town we'd actually passed through a week ago on our trip. We took some pictures by the bridge, then had some pizza for dinner before bunking down for the night. After getting ready, we checked out of the hotel and rode to Kushiro Station for breakfast. At the bakery inside were all kinds of yummy, sweet and savory bread rolls. Inside the station, we dropped by a post office to grab some more stamps. I had amassed quite a few postcards while traveling and was eager to get rid of them. 30 minutes north into the wilderness, we came to Kushiro Shitsugen Park. We followed the signs pointing us to their visitor center, unsure of what lay ahead. The crisp lines of the building entice you in, pulling you to all the informative videos, insect charts, and human crane comparison boards. Made official in 1987, the park boasts the largest wetlands in Japan and is home to many plants and animals, most notably the endangered red crane. Marshes are really important for the environment, as they are central hubs for migration and breeding, but are also carbon sinks, which help slow climate change. The low-lying vegetation and negative space it created felt like an abrupt but interesting change from Shiretoko's rolling mountains. While we only hiked through the marsh, visitors can kayak or canoe on the many tributaries to get a different perspective of the park. After finishing our walk, we drove 10 minutes up the road for lunch to a quaint restaurant with a dining area overlooking a lush garden. Whilst admiring the plants, I noted that even the overcast skies couldn't detract from the flowers' intense hues. I ordered a curry, which came with a side salad with edible flowers in it, which I was later informed were picked fresh from the garden outside. A flitting hummingbird joined us, and even in slowing down the footage, it was difficult to track the bird with my camera. After lunch, we perused their products, and I settled on an apple tart, a Totoro towel, and a wooden crane keychain. We drove back to the park and began our hike to a viewing deck to better see the marsh from a higher vantage point. The trail was a quick 20-minute walk to the observation deck, and we came across a few small insects on the way. While cloudy, the foggy horizon made the marsh seem endless. We took our time meandering back to the car, finding some more caterpillars and smaller insects, as well as a small bridge, possibly a trailhead leading to deeper parts of the wilderness. Three and a half hours later, my host dad had driven us from Kushiro through the majority of central Hokkaido, all the way to port city Tomakomai. Here, we'd board a ferry to Hachinohe, concluding our wonderful time spent in Hokkaido. We luckily had the room to ourselves, and after bathing at the ship's bath, slowly came down for the night to get some rest. The next morning, I got myself up at 5:30, heading outside to take in the fresh sea air, excited to slowly make our journey home. Seeing Honshu come into view was making the ending of the trip much more apparent. While we still had a ways to go, we'd be back in Tokyo in just a few days. Here, the ferry is approaching Hachinohe, a town known for beautiful coastal trails, fresh fish markets, and cool museums. We collect our things and head downstairs to pile back in the van. The crewmen then play Tetris to get the vehicles off the boat, and in 10 minutes we come to the fish market for breakfast. The Mutsu Minato Market is a collection of about 300 shops that have been supplying the greater Hachinohe area with fresh seafood since the 50s. We didn't check it out due to time, but there was a cool commemorative statue of the archetypal market mothers, the friendly old women who run the stalls or shop the market. Since we'd be camping for the next couple of days, we stopped at a grocery store to get supplies and snacks, as well as at a Michinoeki an hour and a half later for additional local goodies. As per usual, we put a stamp in our stamp rally books as a travel memento. A half hour later, we came to our final destination, a campground nestled on Lake Towada. We'd be here the next couple days exploring the many waterfalls of Oirase Gorge. For some reason, I immediately liked the area, probably for the secluded feel and lush forest spilling into the lake. After we unpacked, I kept an eye out for the kids while they swam, while my host parents prepared dinner. Later, we saw a cute cat enjoy the warmth of the fire and skipped rocks against the hazy, mountainous horizon. Sparklers followed, with a delicious dinner of rice, lettuce, and mashed potatoes shortly after. The steady rhythm of the rain drew the day to a close, and everyone to bed. For those who've made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for the rest of the journey. In the coming video, I detail our woodland adventures along the meandering Oirase River. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.
To see